Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest update on Crow Road, my Glasgow-based N-gauge micro layout. In this video, I complete the frontage of these tenement flats based on the real ones on Crow Road, add some more detailing to the back scene, and add a bridge as well. Hope you enjoy the video. If you watched the last video, you'll see I made a start on trying to model these tenement flats on Crow Road, where I got to was sort of made the ground plan and sidewalls and frontage using Inkscape and images from Google Maps and dimensions from Rightmove as like a template. And so the next steps really was to add the windows, and to do that I used the sticky label method again, which I used to good effect on the houses on the other side of the layout. To do this, I produced rectangles to slightly smaller dimensions than the windows themselves, where the glass should be. Print this out onto sticker labels and then stick it to some clear plastic sheet. And then there's then got the sort of tricky bit of carefully cutting out the rectangles using a sharp knife and a steel rule, and then gently removing them. And what that leaves you with is the window and the frame around it, which you then just glue to the back of the window openings. And I found it worked really well on the houses that I built, and it works really well on these flats too. I was expecting the bay windows to be quite difficult though, as the windows and frames are quite narrow, but it worked fine. I could get them as narrow as I needed to fit behind the bay windows. The only issue I did have was some of the windows they've got brown frames. So if you look at the image, some of the flats have got brown frames, some of them have got white frames, and I wanted to represent that. But with the brown frames, occasionally you do get a little bit of the white paper showing, where if it hasn't cut cleanly. So what I had to do was kind of go back and very carefully just remove those little bits of white paper. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's come out. And with all the windows done, effectively use the exact same technique for the doors of the hairdressers, and then all just glued it all in place using a little bit of PVA glue. And I went back onto Street View to work out what to do next, and decided to add some ledges below and above the windows that the real flats have, using thin strips of Scalescenes paper from the same dressed stone pack that I used for the rest of the flats. So these were cut using a sort of sharp knife and a steel rule, and then glued in place using a very small amount of PVA glue. And then the final bit of detailing I've done is to add the thick ledge along the base of the first floor, using some thick card stepped to the width of the bay windows. Spray this black acrylic paint, and then glued it in place using PVA again. To which I've then added the hairdresser sign. There's a little bit more detailing I want to do. I want to drain pipes to it. Maybe a tiny little bit of weathering. I'm not quite sure, but I'm really pleased with how it's what it's kind of ended up looking like. Yeah, really happy. I've also added some trees on the back of the layout, using some tree templates that I had from a Woodlandscenics pack, and I also used some twigs from the garden, which I found work quite well as tree templates, being sort of the right shape. What I did was sort of spray these with some heavy duty glue, and then just applied the Woodlandscenics Clump foliage to these. I've also done one tree using the polyfibre as well, just for a bit of variation, and I might do a couple of other ones. So I have got some very loose sort of engage, something very loose, tiny engage tree foliage, which I might apply to a couple of them, just for just a bit of variation, if nothing else. I haven't gone for the wall of trees, which is will be prototypical, because in the real thing, it's like a wall of trees between these houses and where Crow Road Station currently is, but that would completely mask the building, so it wouldn't be much point in having anything there anyway. But I wanted to give enough to kind of give a feel of the place. So that's kind of what I hope I've got at the moment, but I might add a few more bushes here and there, but I don't want to overdo it. I've also added the wall along the top of the bridge at the Crow Road end of the layout. For the Clarence Road end, I used some cereal packets for this purpose, and I found those a little bit thin, and they do tend to bend a little bit, so I've gone for some thicker card for this. And I've used a kind of stepped arrangement, so they should sort of sit on the bridge and hopefully keep a lot more straight. And all I've done is then just cover this in sort of Scalescenes bridge textures, the same as I used on the Clarence Road end, using like a stone wall top with a steel beam base. And then beside that, I've added a red brick wall as well, using exactly the same technique. And I've added some bushes in front of that, as you typically find in any sort of dead ground. There'll be some bit of overgrown stuff, beside the bridge. And then finally for this update, I've started to experiment with some back scenes for this end of the layout as well, using Google Street View again, as I used for the Clarence Drive end, to give an image of the park that sits beside that is beside the flats. And originally the track would have run through this park into a tunnel. But obviously on my layout, it's just you imagine that's happening. You just go through the bridge, and then effectively it exits to the fiddle yard. And this should look quite good once I've actually replaced the ink cartridges, because it looks a little bit faded. So yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much where I'm up to. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you all next time.